For this activity, we are going to continue learning about some of the different features in Inventor, and the files needed for this are the first two. The first one, the PDF, being the instructions. The second one are a zip folder with all the files needed for the activity. So the part files have already been built, which should make it a lot quicker because we're doing like a manipulation to the part file that already exists. So if you go into the directions, it's going to go step by step and say, we're going to open up this part file and then do this type of manipulation or modification to that. So I want to demo these so that you have an example to go back and watch while we're working on it. So I'm going to start with the first one, tapered extrusions. I open up that file, and following the directions, I'm going to make an extrusion. And if I click on the More tab, there's an option to taper that. So I'm going to do like a negative 10-degree taper. And so it'll taper that object in, and I can hit OK. So if you go back to the directions, I see that, okay, this is kind of where I want to get to as the finished product. And just like the previous activity, I want you to do a print screen of this object, place it onto a Word document, and you'll be submitting that Word document for credit. So you don't need to send me the part files. Okay. Let's go to the next one. The next one is an intersection. I can do an extrusion where I have a solid that already exists and a sketch, and I can have the extrusion be the intersection of the two. So rather than doing join or cut, I'm going to go down to intersect, and I'm going to set the distance to all. I hit OK. And what it does is it takes any part of intersection between the solid object and the sketch is where my remaining extrusion is. Again, take a print screen of this, throw it onto the Word document, and then we'll submit it onto the LMS. This is probably the trickiest one of them. We're going to use the different hole features to build 5 different types of holes. So if you're looking at the instruction sheet, all these sizes and specs for those holes are on there. The key thing is that if I want to place a hole, I have to select which point that I'm placing the hole on. Otherwise, it's going to put the same hole on all 5 of these points. So I'm clicking the first point, and then I'm hitting either hole here or the hole function up top. I'm going to select for the first one a through hole. Set my diameter to 0.25, and this is just based on the PDF with the directions, and then I will hit OK. And that places a through hole through my object. Notice that the points that I used to make the holes has disappeared. Right? It was part of the sketch 2, and because I've used the sketch, the holes or the other points disappear. But what I can do is right-click on this sketch, share the sketch, and then use those points again for the next holes that I need to make. So you will need to share the sketch in order to use those same points again. Again, I can click the hole, or the point, go to hole, and then go into whatever that I want to do. Next one would be like a counter bore. I'll use the dimensions given on the sheet, 0.75, 0.25, 0.375, hit apply, and I have the counter bore. So I want you to work through each of the 5 holes for this activity. When you're finished, screenshot, put this onto the Word document. This file is called bushing because that's what we're making, but the idea is to use the revolve command to take this enclosed profile and revolve it around this center axis to make a 3-dimensional object. So I'm going to click revolve. It's already selected this profile because it's the only enclosed profile on this sketch, and then I'll select the axis, and it does a revolution about that axis to make the object. Pretty straightforward. Loft is a great one. I can take shapes on different sketches and do a loft which connects them together. So if I click on loft, click my first sketch, my next sketch, click my next sketch, and what it does is it kind of transitions from a circle to this polygon to this next one here. I hit apply, and that finishes the object. If you want to hide these planes, you can. Like if I want to turn the visibility off so that when I submit this image, it's just of the object, you can do that as well. Don't want to delete the planes because the sketches are dependent on it, but I can right-click and uncheck the visibility of the plane to make it disappear. Circular pattern we've done before, but I want to show it again. We'll do it on this activity. I click circular pattern. I'm going to select the feature first, which would be the circle. I can either select it on the drawing, or I can select it in the browser. Then I want to select the rotational axis, which is going to be the center axis, and then specify the number of placements I want, which in this case is going to be 10, and I hit OK. Rectangular pattern we haven't done before, but it's a similar process to the circular pattern. So I'll click on rectangular pattern. I'm I'm going to select the feature first, which is going to be this little extrusion. Now I'm going to set the directions for how many copies I want to make and in which direction. So I'm going to select this bottom first for direction 1. Obviously I don't want it to pattern off to my left, so I'm going to switch the direction or flip it here and then put how many I want. So I want 6 going along kind of the x-axis. Then I can go to direction 2. I want 4 in the y direction, and then I hit OK, and it patterns that extrusion across my plate using a rectangular pattern. The other pattern tool is the mirror command. Mirror is great because I can make a mirror image of this object. I select this. I don't want to just mirror a feature, I want to mirror the entire object, so I'll switch to this. And then I'll specify which plane. So in this case, it's this plane that I want to mirror on. I don't want to remove the original, so I'll leave this unchecked and hit OK, and it mirrors the entire object. Last one then is the sweep command. Sweep is found underneath loft, so there's other features under loft. So if I go to sweep, it's automatically selecting the enclosed profile because it's only one. Now I need to select the path. So this enclosed profile is going to move about that path. When I do that, it makes my paperclip type shape. Again, I can right click on the plane, turn the visibility off, so that when I take the screenshot and place it on the Word document, it doesn't have the plane on there. There are no conclusion questions associated with this activity, so all the points will be earned by just the screenshots of these 9 parts that we're going to build for this activity.